Welcome to 1993. This is Regeneration X, where we are taking a look at the events, movies, music, and more that make up our favorite decade. My name is Daniel, and I am joined, as always, by experts of the era. Wesley, how you doing?
Bro, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood and hoping that it still gets better.
And Cass, it is great to have you here.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, and I am ready to go back in time.
We are very ready to go back in time, and maybe more so than usual, as we are currently living in the quarantine world. How you guys holding up in our social distancing America?
You know, my life really hasn't changed that much. I'm
Agreed.
a work from home employee who doesn't really venture out much into the social world, so I know that it's impacting a lot of other people who are a lot more social than I am, but other than the depressing news, I am doing okay.
Likewise, similar. Fortunately, Amy and I both can work from home, so we've been working from home, and we live in rural Alabama, so there's not a ton of social that happens anyway for us. Yard work and finding little projects to do. Amy built a desk for Elena this week, and I don't know, we're building things and homesteading, it seems, learning how to bake with yeast. So it hasn't really been that bad, but prayers to those that are being heavily impacted, and hope you enjoy what follows here with this look back at the 90s.
Indeed. Thoughts and prayers to anyone whose lives or careers were affected by what's going on right now, and hopefully that part of things goes back to normal sooner rather than later, as soon as it can. Let's think about April of 1993. We're going to take a look at the movies today of April 1993, and we're going to do that right after this.
Now's the time for your family to discover the adventures of Basil and Toby in Disney's The Great Mouse Detective. Add this classic to your video collection today before it disappears. After April, Disney will stop selling The Great Mouse Detective on video. Buy now while supplies last.
Regeneration X, we are checking out movies in April of 1993, and we're going to kick it off with a film from Miramax, The Night We Never Met. That's Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
And that's all I got so far. Ferris Bueller, living the life.
She's somebody. What else was she in?
All these people not social distancing. Look at them.
Isn't that, and it's going to be hard for us to not reflect on the time that we're recording this. I really hope that if you're watching this in the year 2021, you have no idea what we're talking about and further, But yeah,
they're gonna have masks surgically attached to their faces.
Fair enough. But yeah, have you guys thought about this lately? Like when you're watching old sports highlights and something like that, and you see these full arenas of people, and you're like, oh, that's very different. You can't help.
I'm gonna say they'll know, because here in the middle of the country, working from home, cutting my grass and all that, like I still don't think the gravity of what all this, the gravity of what's happening out in the real world has really hit.
My job I'm sorry.
It's the lack of sports for me, especially being here in the rural South with football season.
That's what's her
know,
face.
Justine Bateman.
There you go.
Looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good.
But as we're looking forward to football season coming up, you just kind of wonder, like, what's it going to be like?
When any of the major sports start, baseball, basketball, football, and there's no fans in the stadium, it is going to be awkward.
So The Night We Never Met, a movie I never saw and probably never will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would have been a fine watch at its time.
I remember this. What is this?
Rick Moranis. They were switched at birth, right?
At birth? Is that Catherine Zeta?
No, could it be?
Now she was a great Hamlet. I just don't remember the banana scene in Hamlet. That's a topical interpretation. Drunk again, sir.
Until one day,
It's okay, Butler. So are we.
Tommy discovered you that Henry's family
Remind me of my late husband.
Credit to the a trailer giving me a laugh.
I'd give anything to
Right.
Should have been his.
I'm the former baby. I should be Henry.
Of course, it will be quite different.
Now, don't
Is that Catherine
That's her.
Zeta-Jones?
Yeah, for sure.
So what do we do now?
Does she
Somebody put helium.
have that Tom Cruise blood in her that keeps her looking the exact same her whole life?
The Paul Rudd syndrome.
Ground on crack.
Yeah. This 1993, she looks the same as she did in 2005 and probably today.
Yeah, you know, she's married to that old man, though. I'm sure Botox like a mofo is the name of the game out there anyway.
Well, it's good Botox because we've seen our share of obvious Botox.
Yeah.
I feel like this might have been a movie I would enjoy watching back then.
Yeah, like I'm already into the trailer. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of want to watch it.
gave me a couple laughs. It's got Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Splitting hairs.
That's a good premise. I'm down for that.
Splitting Heirs.
No, I had that to my
A couple of
Netflix
good-looking
queue.
ladies, actually.
There was a lot on the list that had, wide releases and good numbers that I sort of, I felt like when I said, okay, I kind of remember the title, but a lot of movies I didn't really either see or remember. Is this a really strange? Okay, no. It's like, is this a horror movie?
Let's say I remember this one too.
Do you?
Yeah, it's where he has all those kids. He's like a single dad with all those kids. was a good
Danny
movie.
DeVito, the national treasure.
I think the name of the movie is like the guy's name, like Buck or some mess like that. I don't know. Maybe not.
You're not incredibly off. What is there's so much dark flashlight in this trailer.
Yeah, we really don't know what this movie's about.
Yeah, it's giving me some mixed messages that he's going to try to murder all the kids.
I
Or they're
don't
gonna-
think that's what it was. I think it was like a sweet movie.
Are they going to break out into a Queen song?
I'm going into this movie with the wrong expectations.
They're killing cops.
They're killing cops.
They're hitting the mob. They're not afraid.
I totally thought this was a... What's the... Oh, man.
But they should be.
Always bet on black.
What is this one?
Talking to Steve Austin.
Is a cop who's reached his boiling point.
Okay, whatever.
Boiling point.
Good,
Is it,
good
though?
call, yep.
Okay, yeah.
He wants to read them.
What's that single white female? What's her name? Bridget Nielsen? You guys know what I'm talking about?
The one that
That
did
we've
all
seen.
the stuff with Flavor Flav?
No. Panic Room and
Fonda?
Bridget.
Yeah, Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, we've seen her in some films lately. And I saw the name Boiling Point, and for some reason I thought it was one of her
That's
movies.
what I thought it was, yeah. Like one that we looked at recently.
Right. So it was a delightful surprise to see it was a Wesley Snipes movie.
They've taken every villain from the 90s and put him in this movie. That bald dude,
Well, this is
the
how
Hopper.
What was that Bridget Fonda movie? Was that the one that
Maybe
was
it
like
was-
with them, Nikita?
maybe was it Breaking Point? Or maybe, but it had a similar name, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm glad to see I wasn't alone in just hearing it and instantly saying Bridget Fonda movie.
Has a secret.
I know all about it.
He's so scared.
Just don't want to give up George. You become attached to him.
Locked away until he
This is one of those guys. He was in like a dozen 90s movies, but I don't know his name.
Yeah.
away from the light, safe in the shadows.
I wrote those words, and I have no recollection of doing it.
But sometimes secrets take on a life
Got some
of their own.
Nah. This looks like it was supposed to be cool, but nah.
those cerebral horrors, right? Supernatural thrillers.
Sure. Wanting his shining moment,
But George is not about to go
maybe.
quietly.
You really don't realize what you're like when you write those books, do you? It's like watching Jekyll turn into Hyde.
Misdirection.
That guy.
That guy who's man, Walking Dead guy.
Yandu.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Seeing him in '93 is interesting. I didn't realize he. Well, now he was in Predator, wasn't he, with Arnold?
Yeah, he's been around.
Which that's like an '87, so yeah, he has been around.
I've never heard of this movie.
See, like the Raven there in the.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
The dark half.
I'm good on that.
I used to not prefer the
Never
dark
had
half,
it.
but now I'm okay with it. You know, the thighs, drumsticks. Kind of tasty.
This was Ed Lover and Flavor Flav. What was this one though? This one
Ed
was
Love and Dr. Dre. He the man.
Flavor Flav,
You
Dr.
the
Dre.
man.
Who's the man? Yeah.
Who's the man?
Who's the man? Yeah.
Yes.
I used to love this movie.
Me too. I saw this one. God knows, probably about 5 times.
Oh, I had it confused. Is this not the one where they're cops?
Yeah, that's Who's the Man is the one where they're cops.
This is
This
is Who's the Man. I guess we're just telling the story leading up to that. Well, this is the movie Who's the Man. So I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe they had another one.
Abacadabra all the way down.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. What was the one that we looked at before? What was the one before this one? Because this is the second one that we reviewed, right?
Have they had 2 movies? There's no way these guys got 2 movies. Maybe they were part of the trivia.
Yeah, I think they were part of the trivia.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh. I tell you what.
I could watch this again.
One of those times going to the movies and watching this was
Bernie Mac.
an eventful experience.
I don't know. Are we going to be able to ask about that and keep it rated
Nah.
PG-13? Okay.
Nah.
Okay. I'll have to ask about that when the show is over.
Yeah, this movie has some memories.
Some interesting memories, huh?
I said I went to the theater and
you had now as your parent in the future, Wesley, you had no business in 1993 fooling around at the movie theater.
Yeah. Really?
That's what I'm saying.
Nah.
I stand by that statement.
Nah, you know me, like in Arizona, we would like sneak to the Dollar Theater. I did once or twice. I was young then.
Yeah, it would have been pre-91, right?
Yep. Yeah, shout out to Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. Dre is dead, right?
No,
No,
really?
he lost a ton of weight.
Oh, he's alive? He's still alive?
The last I
That's
heard,
good.
he was still alive. He
Prepare.
lost a ton of weight and like become a lot more healthy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had him mixed up with, forgive this, but I had him mixed up with one of the fat boys.
Ah, okay.
It's your girl.
Let
Crush.
the mixed emotions begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you allowed to? Is that what we're talking about? Are you allowed to see
really,
what's hot right
I
now?
think the best thing for me to do is to sit here quietly during the entire trailer. So you guys take this one. Okay, I'm going to sit here quietly.
I firmly stand by. If we can look back in our mind's eye and remember it from then, it's okay.
Then it's okay. Well then,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this girl in 1993.
She was my number one back then.
She rode the momentum of this to be my number one girl for like a decade almost.
Is
probably.
that right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
Fair
she
enough.
did that Aerosmith video.
Yep.
And you got Carrie Hughes, As You Wish.
But now
Mayor.
I'm like, where's this girl's parents?
And who would have thought he would have got through this and become the mayor of Hawkins, Indiana? You got red in this?
Girls be tripping. Carrie. Pervert.
How many times have you seen this?
Probably twice. Not a ton.
Okay.
2 or 3 times when it was new. Never since.
Yeah, no, this was one that I think I rented it from Blockbuster when it came out, and that might be the only time I've seen it.
Probably once all the way through and once to pause it at certain scenes.
I think that I've seen it once.
In 1993. It's totally legal.
Yeah, a lot of that looked familiar.
I get you guys. It's a sad state of affairs.
Is it me? I don't remember it smelling as much like urine.
What is this?
Smelled like urine.
Something I was probably not going to watch then or now. It looks a little too...
Every morning as a warm-up before we work out.
I don't know. You got to really...
Interesting cast.
You got to handcuff
Yeah.
me to the chair to make me watch one of these, like,
Hey.
set pieces or something.
Was that Bill Paxton?
I believe it was. Yeah.
Who was that chick? Who's the curly head lady?
Oh,
Or
she's...
what's her name?
Oh, she's in some stuff, isn't she? Yeah.
I like her. I like all of them. Check your girl out.
Diane
it's
Lane.
Diane.
It is
Yeah.
Diane Lane.
Well,
That's a good cast,
they
man.
had a good cast.
No. Touchstone Pictures presents the story of 8 friends returning to the best summer of their lives.
It's that cool New York cast from the early 90s.
Emotional, you know.
I'm upset I can't remember any of these girls' names.
Was she a mother in something?
Oh, you know who she was? She was the love interest in the movie Big with Tom Hanks.
She was in Big with Tom Hanks. Good call.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
kinda
where I know
remember
her
that.
from.
I remember the movie coming out. I can't say that I would have watched it back then, but
I'm
interesting cast.
guessing if we were of a certain age, that would have really spoke to us.
Right.
We would have watched it.
Yeah. Had it come out when I was like 18, I would have watched it.
This movie was speaking to me though in 1993.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for helping me out again.
That's all right, Chuck. Sidekicks are for.
Is this my... Or that's not last night. What is it? It's Sidekick.
There you
That's
go.
it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Sidekick. Yeah, this was good.
Chuck Norris with the hair that Van Damme would later use in the movie Hard Target.
Sure.
So where's your friend Chucky now, retard?
You can't get away with that nowadays.
Coming his way.
That is your first lesson. You must always be ready.
Oh, the 90s.
This was the height of
You want to know.
my Chuck Norris
Oh, me too.
admiration.
Yeah, I was never going to think he was cooler than I did when he was the imaginary friend of this kid. It was Bull from Night Court.
Now he has
It
a
was?
chance to try to be worthy of his idol.
Hey, Barry, don't listen to them. Listen to me. I'll race you to the top. I can't.
No, the dad in me is just kind of low-key falling in love with this movie. Check out Wendy Cooper.
Yeah.
Looking cute because I'm allowed to look back on her and
Right.
think,
Fair enough. I always thought she was a B, so I just never had.
We always seem to meet this way. It's not gonna be so easy this time.
Like, I gotta watch
Get
the
some.
movie. Did imaginary Chuck Norris teach him how to fight?
If you're not too chicken.
Or was
I'm confused about what's happening here.
that
Yeah, it
old
looks like
chef
he had
taught
a-
him how to fight?
Yeah, he had a Mr. Miyagi type.
Ah, cool.
I am Chuck Norris. And fight at his side. Why don't you and I go win this thing, huh? A dreamer. A champion.
But meanwhile, me in 1993 was never really that engaged in Chuck Norris movies. So
No.
we had Arnold and Van Damme and Stallone and Snipes.
Yep, and Bruce Lee if I wanted to watch
Somebody
Chuck
older,
Norris
yeah.
style fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she paints, she reads, she lights things on fire. I got a fire extinguisher. Just bring her.
Here's another one that I was definitely not interested in 93.
You take my cousin off.
But I think it had some critical acclaim.
What's in the pot?
It's not Benny and June.
Yeah,
It is-
yes, you got
It is
it.
Benny and June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Once I got there, I would have been with it. I had the soundtrack. I was a fan actually.
I don't think I've
Like
ever
that.
seen it all the way through.
I don't think I've seen the scene where he. Yeah, this scene. This is the only thing I remember from the movie.
You know what
I
I did?
was
Forks in the
such a
rolls.
fan of early Johnny Depp that once he like blew up for real, like after it has to have been Pirates of the Caribbean, where everyone just becomes an uber fan of him, and everything else, like I was burned out on. I was like, what? I'm done with.
I'd watch.
Going too far with it.
If they make 20 more Pirates movies, I'll watch them all just because I think he's great. But
Great movies. I don't knock them at all.
I don't think he's in the next pirate movie. I think the next pirate movie is going to be an all-female cast.
Yeah,
you're breaking my heart.
Okay.
Because he got cut with that whole what Amber Heard stuff started coming out, and then now they're figuring out that maybe she was the problem.
I don't know what that.
I don't know about that story. Was there like some kind of affair or?
No, domestic violence.
Ah.
So.
They were saying that he was like beating his woman, but she was beating him.
Yeah.
I can believe
it. I might be misspeaking because I haven't really been following the story, but
I always confuse this movie and What's Eating Gilbert Grape as just one big movie.
Right.
Keep in mind that these go from the lowest box office to high. I was surprised that this movie beat out some of the other things, although it does have the Disney tag on it. It's a young Frodo, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Elijah Wood. This might be the youngest Elijah Wood I've seen. He's already just perfect for Lord of the Rings. This trailer.
I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, I don't really remember it.
I don't remember it.
Really?
Yeah.
It was Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, right?
Yeah. Called The Adventures of Huck Finn. But I've definitely never seen it and don't remember it.
My mother-in-law bought me these books, and it's one I want to read. I just haven't made it around to it yet.
Yeah, I feel like I've read like the childrenized version of it. You know, the shorter version, but not the big one.
Without all the N-bombs.
Definitely without all the N-bombs, because I wasn't aware there were N-bombs. I got the PC happy version of it, I guess.
I may be misquoting. There's obvious racism that has to be told to tell that story.
Oh, right, to tell this story, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This is what it is. Is that Mark Twain? That's Mark Twain, right?
Yeah.
Like Mark Twain is like kind of infamous for that. He's a Southern guy of a particular era.
Right. No, please
what
no.
is this? Planes.
But now,
Young Devin here witnessed a crime earlier this evening.
They took the movie Problem Child and they're like, how can we spin this into a different movie? We need a more serious adult and a more comical child.
But fair enough.
It looks interesting.
Speaking of Botox, by the way.
Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah, well, like he's the face of Botox for me.
Yeah.
When that conversation started, he's what I was picturing.
He might have already been doing Botox here from the looks of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was around, and Michael Douglas and whatever Catherine Zeta's husband's name is, they've been perfecting that mess. So she's getting the good stuff now. What in the world is this?
I had to have seen this, but I don't remember it. It's something I would have watched, you know?
Right.
Burt Reynolds, and introducing Norman Golden II,
cop and a half.
I remember
Got the
that.
kindergarten
I remember
cop
that
font on
title.
it. Yeah. I think kindergarten cop comes later, so
Kindergarten Cop ripped off Cop and a Half.
yeah, that's sort of what we're discovering here.
Kindergarten Cop bit the Cop and a Half album cover, like Big bit Raekwon.
The things you learn when you go back and look at history. I've never seen this.
You've never seen The
Shut up.
Sandlot?
No, I just said that to get a rise out of you guys.
I wouldn't believe in that.
I
at
just
all.
wanted to see the reaction I would get.
I was one. So all I'm wondering is what number we're at. I feel like we've got to be like firmly in the top 3 at this point when we get here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, this is number 2.
Okay, perfect. That's what I assumed. I assumed we were at number 2.
To be honest, I've only seen it maybe twice. Yeah, so that still gets the reaction.
What is happening to my life? No,
I don't like this. I really don't like the freckled bully kid.
Daniel.
I'm sorry, that one. I don't like him. I'm sorry.
If this show's on TV, I'm watching it.
Babe Ruth signed that ball.
Yeah, I may watch it tonight.
It's undeniably a great movie.
Oh, Hercules.
So I'll tell you what, man, like in the world of quarantine, this is what I fear the most. Like on top of the fact like we already don't live in a neighborhood. I'm almost like
Right.
ready to like rent this house out to like move to a neighborhood so that
The
Elena can
kids
have
can't
that.
have friends. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, what are kids going to be doing? That's what I fear. Like, what happens to us as like a social species?
We're
Because
gonna
like we're cows, you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
like herd mentality animals. Like when you get to a evolutionary belief level, you know, I don't want to like knock anyone's religious hustle, but God knows if you couldn't grow up with your friends like that, like an entire generation that grows up without that in their DNA, oh, that's going to be something interesting. Oh, indecent proposal.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go take a shower real quick before we finish the segment to get the dirty feeling off me from watching this movie trailer.
It's something, man.
I don't know if I've finished this movie.
I've never. We talked about it during trivia. I've seen the very end and like a couple in betweens when it was on television, but I never watched it proper.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's a good watch, man. You guys should watch it. It's an interesting mental
Probably like
wormhole.
probably in a Black Mirror kind of way. You know, not exactly the same thing, but yeah, just gets you thinking.
I like a movie that I'm thinking about after the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
trailer makes me think. You know, like we debated this for 30 minutes when we brought it up in trivia.
I would. I'd do it for you. For what this money could do for us. What it could do for our future.
Setting the trap
It's just my
for
body.
the audience there.
It's not my mind. It's not my heart.
You might enjoy it.
Don't bet on it.
I mean, I get it, Robert Redford. She is Demi Moore.
And share you with anyone.
She is sitting here looking great, even when trying to look
Not love, just sex.
melancholy sad.
Oh, is that him changing his mind at the last minute?
Yeah.
Now the evening would come and
He punched away outside of his class with her.
think of it. $1 million. For one night.
It's the most silent trailer we've had because we all just was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like one, you're going down that mental wormhole. Two, you're like every 3 scenes has beautiful Demi Moore in it. So it's
Right.
like, oh, melting. Then, God, what would you do? Like, he wants to, she's my wife, and he wants to do what with her? I got to kill him, right? But I need that $1 million, and I got to kill him, right? God knows.
Well, there you have it. Your movies of April 1993. And what I need right now is a segue out of this indecent feeling. So we'll take a quick break and come back with my favorite segment that we do, movie trivia, right after this.
We've always taken a lot of pride in the fact that we make the finest sausage, and Jimmy Dean Light is no exception. A little leaner than most folks. It's got that same country goodness that you've come to know. Try it. Let us know how you feel about it. Taste that country goodness.
Welcome back, Regeneration X, April 1993, and we're going to take a look forward, a sneak preview of next month's movies with our favorite segment, 1-star reviews.
All right, guys, just as a quick reminder, for those of you who might have just found this show, what's going to happen is I've chosen 3 movies that released in the upcoming month of 1993. I'll read off 3 actual 1-star reviews from Rotten Tomatoes, and based off these reviews, you and my fellow 90s experts will guess the movie. As to keep it fair, all of you playing at home, the experts will wait until all 3 reviews have been read before giving their correct answer. We don't have a sponsor for the show this week, but I'd just like to take this time to thank all of our essential workers right now during this weird time in our history. All the doctors and nurses, especially the grocery stores employees who are out there working, making sure that we can get the food that we need, all the gas station attendants who are making sure when we do need to go somewhere, we can get the fuel we need to get there, and obviously the delivery drivers who are really our lifeline right now to the outside world, bringing us all the things from Amazon that we probably don't need. So, all right, just wanted to throw that out there, and now we will get into our first review. For our first movie, we have a reviewer of Lizzie D. She said, "This movie is stupid and trite, but it is exactly as you would expect. The jokes are cheesy and strange. They are at least enough to make you laugh half-heartedly." So we know this is a comedy.
All right. So my
Exactly
mind
what it says.
my mind is going something with Pauly Shore. Let's see if the clues take us anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah, let's see if Douglas B helps. He says, "The version of Rambo worth watching."
I already got it.
Oh, I think I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and read Mike P's review anyway. He says, "Not very funny, although there is a great bit on Apocalypse Now, but that's it."
So I
Okay.
don't know the name of it, but it's the one that has what's his face?
Charlie
from
Sheen, right?
Major League. Yeah, it's got Charlie Sheen in it.
Is it Hot Shots?
Is that the name of it?
That it is Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have. Yes. Okay, cool.
Hot Shots Part? I remember the trailer scene where it's got that Rambo knockoff of Charlie Sheen firing the machine gun in the jungle or whatever.
Yeah.
And he shoots the chicken with the bow and arrow or something.
Sure. I don't know that I'm sure that I've seen the movie, but it's not on my list.
Yeah, it's not. It's
movies.
Yeah. Speaking of essential, this one is not.
Not essential. No.
I was really big into those parody movies during this time, so I really enjoyed it. The Naked Guns, the Hot Shots.
I enjoyed the Naked Guns.
These types of movies.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Naked Guns for sure, and I'm sure I watched Hot Shots multiple times.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right, we're on the board today.
Hey, no doubt. Yeah, check it out. Check us out after clue number 2.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be some type of a scoring type.
Yeah, we need a point system to see if how well we do each week.
Coming off of Hot Shots, we'll go down to our next review. This is a little bit of a long review. Lawrence H. had a lot to say about this movie.
Grab a drink.
He had feelings.
This is one of those movies that everybody pretends isn't completely moronic because they feel compelled to appreciate it out of a false 90s sense of cultural guilt. The truth is, this movie was crap and is aging poorly. This film is a racist bore. It talks itself up, transparent in the cowardice of weakness of its main characters. In this, it feels like pro wrestling,
Hey,
all
now,
boast and a total bluff of tough. Tough
wow.
guy, bad boy movies always walk the same line. They romanticize an element or mentality while throwing in cliche moral life lessons to teach us that said lifestyle is bad so that the film can avoid being criticized for being shallow. Train Spotting did this with heroin. Tarantino does this professional murderers, and this movie does this with those painfully insecure in their masculinity.
I gotta guess, but I don't. It is a far off swing, I guess we'll say.
Yeah, I don't think I would have a guess after reading this.
I'm interested though. That's an interesting review. I'm
I'm
glad you read that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Our next reviewer is Steve M. God, this movie is awful. I don't understand why so many people find this to be riveting or powerful because there's no plot. It's literally an hour and a half of unexpected melodramatic scenes that lead nowhere and never get resolved, combined with people shooting at each other. The acting and script are terrible. I actually found myself laughing at scenes that were intended to be serious, and that's the only reason this doesn't get half a star. So far,
It's gonna
two
be an
people
interesting
really
one.
weren't fans of these.
All right.
All right. And to finish it up, Ralph R. says, it has an all black cast. No movie that boasts of an all black cast is remotely interesting. I cannot relate with what happens in this flick because this is not the world that I live in, and I hope that blacks do not continue to romanticize this lifestyle themselves. Oh, Ralph's a bit of a racist.
Wow, Ralph, tell us how you feel.
You know what? Is he? Because
I mean, he is being honest.
With that review,
there was a
it's what I
sentence
think
there
it
that was
is.
honest. So we're done, right? So I'm ready for
Yeah,
my
that was it,
guess.
that was
Unless you want to go first, Wesley.
What you got?
I got Boys in the Hood.
Me too.
Okay.
You guys were so close.
Okay, so if it's not Boys in the Hood, then wait, let's take another guess.
It was Menace to Society.
Menace.
Oh man,
Yeah,
okay. How did I forget that one?
Heavily, whatever. Menace isn't as critically acclaimed as they were like trying to lead us.
I guess that's why I was led to think Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. And I even thought like, well, haven't we gotten past Boys in the Hood already? But what other movie was like that? That wasn't. It was either that or Higher Learning. I was thinking Higher Learning after that first view. I was like, okay, well, yeah, Higher Learning, but maybe not. Then we got to the end, and I thought for sure Boys in the Hood, but the timing seemed wrong. But whatever. Menace is what it is. Menace was a gangster movie. It's not a lesson on morality. It doesn't pretend to be what Boys in the Hood is.
Right.
Menace is just like watching Scarface or
that's what I was going to compare it to.
Yeah, even though, good call. Yeah, I agree with that. Even those have like these moral lessons, but it's different.
Right.
It's not the same thing. So whatever. They have a right to feel that way. I agree with that last reviewer in that one of the big failures of the culture was and continues to be the glorification of ignorant violence, of ridiculous violence. And in many ways, Menace does glorify that. So I understand it and in several ways champion that sentiment. The thing that a lot of people on the other side of the coin, a lot of people who can't really relate to what was happening in the movie, is like the knowledge that there are people in the world, and specifically there are kids in the world who at that time, and I'm sure continue to at this point in life, be able to what am I looking for? Relate to it. Like that weird, strange, horrible set of circumstances that unfolds throughout that movie. There are tons of kids in our own country who relate to that.
Right.
And you should see that as a problem and as something that we as a society should try to fix. So That's my 2 cents on Menace to Society. It's an entertaining gangster movie that doesn't try to be preachy, but even when it's not trying to do that, we can see the social problems that are found in there and know that those aren't imaginary. That's not
Right,
Narnia.
yeah.
That's real world.
It's
So
based on
if you don't like it,
on
do
real
something about
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
And being honest, 90s cast liked Menace to Society better than Boys in the Hood.
It was entertaining in a different way. Because
I
Boys
don't
in the
know.
Hood was a little preachy. Like not it definitely wasn't, right? But between the two of them, you left thinking
Yeah.
a little bit more than Menace to Society. Menace to Society, you left that one feeling like energized, like, oh, I'm a gangster. I want to do some gangster shit. With
Right.
Boys in the Hood, you're like, I should not be trying to be a gangster, right?
Right.
Which makes Boys in the Hood the better of the two films.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last review if you guys try to
do.
redeem
Nice.
yourself.
All right.
Have we failed twice? Or we got the second one?
We got,
right? Or
we got the first. We got the first one. Got the first one. Came really close with the second one.
We didn't get the name right on the first one. I feel like we're going to work on that scoring system because we knew the movie. We just couldn't call the name.
We called it. We called Hot Shots. We got it.
Okay.
I called
Fair.
it. Yeah,
Cool. I didn't commit to it. I'm being honest. I didn't commit to it. Cool. Last one.
All right, for our third and final review, Jesse L. I don't know what went wrong here. This could have been an amazing film if it followed the game way more closely. But no, they took a realistic approach which makes zero sense. The alternative dimension thing was cool as a multiverse believer, but that still wasn't enough for me to save and redeem this train wreck.
I got a guess already. And I'm going to, no matter what happens, I'm going to give you guys my first guess, even if I change it.
As a kid, I absolutely loved this film, mainly because of its halfway tied into the video game. But in retrospect, this movie is terrible. The CGI is awful, the storyline is crazy. It's just convoluted and odd. I truly don't understand what I ever thought was good about this movie other than nostalgia and video game references.
Oh, so yeah, I've got a second guess.
Now you got a second guess.
Yep. So I'll give them to you in order. At the end.
Okay, cool.
All right. We got the last review here from Alex A. Very few resemblances to the video game phenomenon it's based on. You're not going to believe this. Scene at the end hints at a new threat, yet the film ends there, leaving you hanging with no answer as to what this is. Ugly world building, messy, overdrawn final act, unremarkable, dry villainous motivation, laughably dated special effects, moron partners up and disappear in the film near the final act and are never seen again for whatever unexplained reason. Not funny, although it's almost garners a chuckle once in a blue moon. Head-scratchingly random moments spread throughout.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that I'm wrong, but I've got two guesses just like Daniel's. I'll let you go first.
Okay, so after the first review, I was going to say Double Dragon. Because there was a Double Dragon movie. And after the second review, I'm Super Mario Brothers. Or is it just Mario Brothers? But you know what I'm talking about. So
right. What you got, Wes?
So I was probably obviously I was way off, but potentially way off on timing also. The first review, I was Jumanji. I wasn't even in video games at that point. I'm not sure what I missed. And then after the second review, it was that Mario movie.
It is Super Mario Brothers.
Okay. Cool.
It is a train wreck of a movie. I actually know a lot about that movie and the making of, like a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I've sort of studied up on it a little bit. A cool documentary on what a disaster of a movie it was.
Shout out to Mario. I've been it's just been this week, and then like the conversations that have been happening in our chat have hinted at hey, Nintendo's they make video games too, and they make like kid-friendly-ish games, right? So I've been thinking about some Nintendo recently, and Elena and I randomly ran across a playthrough of Paper Mario, which she asked who that was, and I had to explain Mario's the man. right? Yeah, Mario's a fun character. You'll meet Mario at some point in your life, which is weird that she hasn't yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being like,
Sort of the face of video games.
Yeah, he's like the foundation that home video game consoling was built off of.
I've made the argument he's the number one character. He's the number one
Yeah.
video character in the world to me. So anyway, put some respect on Mario's name. So it's funny that that was the movie, and it's sad to me how bad it was. I was crazy disappointed. I'm not sure if I was more disappointed by that movie or the He-Man movie.
He-Man movie came much earlier. I want to say that was like 88, 89. And
yeah, it was 80s. Yeah.
I think because I watched it at a younger age, I was like, I was gonna like it no matter what because it was He-Man, you know. It is a weird movie, isn't it?
That's bad. I remember it being bad at the time, but I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I watched it. You know, the entire duration of me having my mom renting it for me or whatever. I probably watched it, 4 times if I could or whatever. So I watched this Mario movie within the last few years. So yeah, I wanted to show it to Alex. So it is not good, but it is. I feel like it's an essential watch all the same, though, just to see
Alex
how
is the
they
one
can
who-
mess something up.
Alex is the one who wrote this review, is he? Because the last review was from Alex.
I don't think he's an Amazon reviewer or a movie critic, but it was a huge dropped ball. Had a great cast, Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo. Rumor has it they were so frustrated with the filming because the movie switched directors 3 times during the filming, and they would change the story every time they switched. And in the end, and this is me going the fast version of this story, in the end, like, a different team was tasked with putting a movie together based on the footage from like 3 different, attempts at a movie. And none of the movies versions of it resembled the original script nor what Nintendo had signed off on, but they decided it was better to make the money off of it than to not, so and anyway, and John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins had gotten so frustrated with it that they were usually drunk at all times. Like they were and they'll tell you this story too. It's like we were drinking heavily on the job at all times. That's how we made it through this filming.
That's funny.
And they were excited when they signed on for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's such a shame.
There's a story about how Bob Hoskins' kids were like, "You must do this movie. It is, please, Daddy, this is the coolest thing ever." And that's why he did it.
I like behind the scenes stuff like that. Like I watched, I think it's on Netflix, The Movies That Made Us or something like that. That's very good. If you guys get a chance to check that out.
I've seen something from
Yeah, I've seen it in passing, and it looks good.
They did Home Alone.
Oh, so they're all. It's like it's like an episodic kind of thing where they talk about certain movies.
Yeah, each episode is a different movie, and they, Home Alone was almost like that. It switched studios during the middle of filming.
They salvaged that one in a big way then, because it ended up being a great one.
Classic.
Well,
Arguably the greatest Christmas movie ever. Arguably.
It's up there. I like my essential Christmas movies. I like to do the out of the ordinary ones. Home Alone, Gremlins, Die Hard, Scrooged with Bill Murray. Those are my tops.
And it's got to be Christmas Vacation. Probably tops my list.
Christmas Vacation is not on mine. Love Actually is my Christmas movie.
Well, good recommendations, and what I recommend is you checking out our next video, which is coming up soon, Video Games of April 1993, and we will see you then.
Peace.
Peace.